Well, I recorded this next rant about a year ago, and I thought, this is like a little time capsule because I was reflecting on COVID, and I was angry. The sound quality's not great, but I'm emotional. I'm just sharing my opinions, my reflections, my thoughts on COVID. It is a little dated now because, like I said, this was back in 2024, July 2024. It was right after the quote-unquote assassination attempt on Donald Trump, leading up to the 2024 elections. And it's a caustic sort of vomiting of a lot of intense reflection and emotion and focus on something that I think we all kind of wanted to put in the rearview mirror and put to bed. But I think it's valid. My feelings really haven't changed on the topic. I don't like to get political on this podcast. It's not sort of my thing. I try to be honest on here, and I try to not censor myself on here, and I try to sort of share my feelings on here as a chronicle of who I am and my journey. So anyway, I this sort of unvarnished version of my experience from a year ago. Please take with whatever salt you might need to keep your kidneys healthy. Alrighty, on the move. Grabbing my coffee, backing on out of the driveway. Nothing in this life is easy. Have you noticed that, people? Have you noticed when you're really, really honest with yourself and you're facing your authentic feelings about all the chores that you have to do in order to make it through this world? Nothing's easy. My son hates camp right now. He loved it a couple weeks ago, but now he's sick and tired of it. And it's so hard to motivate somebody that doesn't want to do something. I feel like, like I'm manipulating him by I don't know anymore. I don't know. I haven't had a good night's sleep in weeks. I did exercise the power of no last night. I told the director, no, I'm not doing another 12-hour day. And I did put Gus to bed, and that felt really good. And now I'm going to see what the fallout is. You know, when you have a impetuous, entitled director that is used to getting his way, and he doesn't get it, how does he react? Does he hire somebody else? Well, if he does, good riddance. It's all about quality of life. You know, maintaining your own dignity. And the COVID years has taught me that there's fallout. You know, I was an anti-vaxxer early. I said, hell no. The science does not support any of these arguments. I'm not going to kill grandma if I don't take an experimental vaccine that has no history of success. And quite frankly, I don't know what the side effects are going to be. So, shove it where the sun does not shine, people. And everybody turned on me, my family turned on me, co-workers, my friends. Everybody bought the line. And it was like Nazi Germany here in the fucking United States. You know, everybody was turning on each other and snitching and just being weak. And not calling anything out. They're just buying the mainstream line that this thing is safe and effective. And the lie just kept slipping on and on and on. At first it started out, it's 99.9% effective. Stopping the spread of the vaccine will stop the spread of the virus. You're going to take it and protect grandma. And then it was 98% effective. And then it was like 90% effective. 85% effective. And that number kept slipping down because they didn't know how ineffective it was. People with like 9 boosters are getting COVID right now. I was one and done. I had COVID and whatever. I have natural immunity. It wasn't my fault that we didn't hit herd immunity. You know? Herd immunity is when everybody catches a virus, develops natural immunity, and then the virus has nowhere to go. I thought that's what herd immunity was. No, but really what it is, it's more language that treats us like animals. You're part of a herd. You're a fucking sheep. Follow protocols. Mandates. Give me a fucking break. You guys work for us. Mandate. Shove your fucking mandates up your ass. Anyway, it affected my ability to get on jobs. I was not on board with fucking wearing a stupid mask all day, every day, when the science didn't support it. You know? I was not on board with PCR tests. Third-party, fly-by-night companies were doing pop-up tent testing sites in cities and contracting with the HHS, taking taxpayer money to essentially just take all our fucking DNA. And I was trying to track where our DNA was going. It was impossible to find out the third-party labs. And that's all it was. You know, the inventor of the PCR test even said out loud, this does not diagnose anything. People in Africa were like,
the mango we just tested positive for COVID-19. Animals were testing positive. Fucking coconuts were testing positive. It's not an accurate way to diagnose anything, but that's how they like it. You know, they were incentivizing hospitals to crank up COVID death numbers so that the fucking news can all night long be like, 155,000 people that died of COVID-19, the scariest pandemic ever. And everybody shit themselves and fucking ran in a corner and was scared to fucking, like, unwrap their food from the supermarket without swabbing it down with alcohol. It was just fucking ludicrous. Oh, and lo and behold, the flu disappeared. Well, if everybody's home and social distancing, wearing masks all day, of course the flu's going to disappear. It's like, no. Everybody fucking dying has got the fucking flu. Or taking remdesivir in your shitty protocol. Don't do anything until you turn blue, then come into the hospital and get shoved on a ventilator. And then we'll pump you through full of remdesivir. Conveniently enough, remdesivir is also a company that Anthony Fauci co-profits from. It was so, on the surface, so obvious to me what was going on. And real doctors that were doing real science and really collating all the information were getting fired, getting deplatformed, getting censored on the internet, getting their license taken away from them for what? Treating their patients the way they always have? Doctor-patient relationship is sacred. The government has no fucking place in it. And they got everything wrong. The fucking FDA and CDC got everything wrong. One of the old CDC directors just recently said, yeah, we probably shouldn't have mandated these vaccines. And we should have just let it be a choice. And he was hauled in front of the Senate. This is just like last week. And it's just like, yeah, you think? Oh, but that's old news. Now we're talking about, Trump's assassination attempt. Yeah. Let's just sweep COVID under the rug. How about? How convenient is that? Fucking psychos. Anyway, my point being, the last 3.5 years have prepared me for advocating for myself. You know? If everybody wants to label you an anti-vaxxer, tell you to your face that you probably shouldn't be invited to Thanksgiving, or be able to travel, or be able to go anywhere, movie theater, supermarket, without a vaccine passport, and have all your freedoms stripped away from you, all your businesses, get shut out of everything for one choice. Body autonomy, heard of that? My body, my choice. I thought that's what liberal ideology was all about. That's why I was a liberal 3.5 years ago. I thought it was let people decide what they want to fucking put in their body. I noticed, conveniently enough, there's the pro-abortion, anti-abortion argument that's been raging in this country. And it's all branding. And they had to change freedom of choice to pro-abortion. Now, is anybody really pro-abortion? Of course you want people to have the choice within reason. I'm not for aborting 9-month-old babies. Sorry. But in the super small zygote, tiny fetal stage, in certain circumstances, yeah. But abortion isn't a fucking issue in other countries. Everybody's reasonable. Everybody minds their own fucking business. Here, everything's got to be like divide and conquer. Let's pick a topic. Let's weaponize it. Let's get everybody all stirred up around it. So we can, like, divide everybody. Divide families, divide communities, divide... It's divide and conquer in this country. Until you wise up to it, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. What did you all learn in the wake? When you reflect on the last 3.5 years, what did you learn? What did you learn? Have you been tracking and following the science around masks? Have you been tracking and following the fallout of these injections? Did you look at the spike in the VAERS reports? Have you seen the Pfizer papers that Aaron Siri, the lawyer for Children's Health Defense and another nonprofit, forced the FDA to produce? It's their findings. Pfizer had to reproduce or reveal their findings from the first 1.5 years of the trial. And it's not good. I mean, the amount of adverse effects from these fucking shots, these mRNA shots, gene therapy shots, they're not vaccines. They had to change the language in order to make it a vaccine. Anyway, the whole house of cards is falling. And if you're paying attention, if you're really curious, and if you want to know more, the information's out there. These things are deadly dangerous. They're not good for you. They don't stop the spread. They don't keep anyone safe. The all-cause mortality rates shot up as soon as they rolled these fucking things out. These products are garbage. Okay? They've been trying to, for decades, make mRNA technology function, and they haven't been able to. And the lipid nanoparticle is deadly dangerous. It's full of fucking shit that, when administered to a child, will fuck them up. So over my dead body, was my kid gonna get fucking poked with one of those? And I'm the psychopath for protecting my fucking child. I'm the anti-vaxxer. I'm the Nazi. I'm the dangerous whatever white supremacist. I mean, they would lump whatever label they could on me to disparage. And they, lockstep, had everybody in line supporting the bullying, the intimidation, the coercion, And weak-minded people fell for it. People that did not do their own research. People that took the mainstream line at face value and impulsively made the decision based on what? Fear. Fear is the cudgel that they bludgeon you with in this country in order to get you to fucking comply. Fear. And they pumped it. They pumped it through CNN, MSNBC, Fox. All the mainstream channels were like, COVID this, COVID that. Deaths everywhere. Like, I didn't see any fucking deaths. I didn't see any deaths. When they rolled out the vaccine, my next door neighbor died of cancer. Turbo cancer. Shot through his body and fucking died within. He's my age. When people were put on remdesivir, yeah, their kidneys failed and they fucking died in the hospital. Duh. It's like ACT back in the day. Fauci's a fucking monster. Funded this thing through the Wuhan lab. Nobody cares. They just want to forget. They want to put it in the rear view mirror. And that is America. Fueling denial. Living in a broken world.